I'm very independent when it comes to being in Lagos. I can survive, but it's just not what I want for my life. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zogi and I'm a Gemini, which is why this channel is called Zogi the Gemini. So first and foremost, I know you guys recognize this background. I know you guys recognize that I'm back in my room in London, which means I have left Nigeria and I'm back in the UK. And as the title says, I'm going to explain to you guys why I feel like I had to leave Nigeria, and also why I personally feel like I don't think I could actually live in Nigeria. So if you want to visit Nigeria, whether you want to move there or you just want to go there for a short period of time and you kind of want to know my experiences, things that I feel like you really need to know, and things that are pros, so to speak, about living or staying over there, then make sure you stay tuned. Or if you're there, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you guys or let you know that I have launched my own hair collection called ZOGI'S Hair Collection. I have a website, I have the Instagram, where I sell premium raw Vietnamese bundles, wigs, extensions, all that you require. My main selling point is that the hair will last you for a very long time. And when I talk about long time, I'm talking a decade. And that's why I've called it ZOGI'S Hair Collection, because I've tested, I've trialed out the hair. I know my shit is good. Let me just say that. You know, let me just say that. But I know the quality is absolutely superb. This hair that you can see me rocking is a pre-made wig. It's called Isabella on the website. I'm gonna like include a small snippet. This hair can be colored up to 613 or any custom color, as you guys can see. I wanted to keep it like warm brown, but if I wanted to get bleach blonde, if I wanted to go to platinum blonde, best believe the hair can do that. So if you are interested in essentially invested in bundles or wig that will last you for a very long time, as you guys know my wigs have lasted me for a very long time, then head over to ZOGI'S Hair Collection. The website link is going to be down below. I ship worldwide, so there ain't no part in this world, there ain't no part in this world that I do not ship to. I currently have 15% off all orders and free delivery. So, you know, sis, if you want to invest anytime, anyone that's ever asked me where my hair's from, go and check out the website. Anyways, enough about ZOGI'S Hair Collection. Let's get into the video. Okay, so because I did not want to ramble at any point of this video, I have made a list on my phone and I've listed it into two categories. One are pros and, you know, good things, and the other category, rather than calling it a con, I think it's more so things that you need to be aware of, because the main reason why I wouldn't call it a con is because Nigeria is a different society from what a lot of people are used to. I mean, if you are based in West Africa, it's probably similar society. But if you born and raised in London, or born and raised in England, born and raised in America, born and raised in Spain, Greece, all of them lot, it is a different society from what you're used to. And that is not a bad thing, nor is it a good thing. It's the reality of the situation. It's just different. And I'm going to run through these two categories, and then at the end I'm going to kind of summarize why I personally don't feel like I can live there. So the first pro that I've listed is an active nightlife and social life. Listen, there ain't no day. There is not a day in Lagos. Also, I'm going to specifically be talking about Lagos. Anytime I say Nigeria, I'm actually talking about Lagos, because there's a big difference between Lagos, Ibadan, Warri, Abuja, Benin. Like, it all differs. So everything I'm listing, both the pros and the things to be aware of, are for people that want to go to Lagos. Does that make sense? Because I can't generalize in the whole Nigeria, because I haven't stayed or lived in the whole Nigeria. Anyways, first point is, there's not a day where there's not something to do in Lagos. Like, you can go somewhere before work. I can't lie to you, depends on what time you start work. And there's somewhere to go after work. Then after work, like, there's always an activity or a restaurant or a bar or a lounge that you can visit. There's always something to do, which is really good, because it's like, I feel like personally with London, there's things to do. Things more so come alive on a Thursday or Friday or Saturday. More so Friday and Saturday, but let it be Tuesday, guys, the club is going to be rammed. It's gonna be like, there's always things to do. Like, people are always on it. You know, back in the day, I used to think, do people in Lagos not work? Because there's always things to do. So if you want to go to somewhere that There's always an activity. You can always go clubbing, you can always go to a lounge, get shisha, go for a nice meal. If you want that and you want it to be readily available, I would say that's a massive pro for either visiting or living in Lagos. Okay, so the second one is really and truly being around your people. You guys get what I mean? Just being around where everyone kind of looks like you. So you go through your daily interactions, yeah, you never really have to double guess a lot of things that think, oh, is it because I look this way, that's why, you know, I was called last, or that's why they don't want to help, or do you get what I mean? Like, it's not, I'm not saying there's other reasons as to why Nigerians will do what Nigerians best do, which is to try and stress you out for the most part, but you would know that at least it's not just on a merit of, and the question of, oh, is it because of my skin color, you know that's not really prevalent. Do you know what I mean? Even though that may seem kind of minor, when I first started going back to Nigeria and I was there for a period of time, it really impacted me, because I'm like, wow, this is really nice. Like, I don't have to second guess myself, and I see people who look like me, different shades, different sizes, different genders. Like, if you know, it's not something that I'm necessarily used to, but it's something I definitely welcomed whilst being in Lagos. The third one is also being around family. If you're Nigerian, you most likely will have family in Lagos, and just being around family and understanding their viewpoint of life and how they view the world, because I'm telling you, there is a difference between a Nigerian whose parents migrated when they were younger, or is either they migrated when they were younger, so they was born in Nigeria but they came over when they were like 5, or their parents migrated before they migrated and they were born in a Western world, right? So you're still Nigerian, yeah, because your parents are Nigerian, that's your heritage. And then there's Nigerians who were born in Nigeria. They may have left the country throughout the years, but 80% of their living or life has been within Nigeria. I personally feel like we view things differently, and that's not in a bad nor good way. We just see things different. We see the family dynamics differently, we see money differently, we see relationships differently. So having family there or having friends there, you get to kind of come out of a bubble and actually see things differently. Do you understand? Especially given the fact that Nigeria is a different culture, so it definitely helps you understanding their viewpoint on certain things. Because it's a different culture, you're not used to being in that surroundings, so they can basically break it down like, listen, in Lagos, this is how things run. In Lagos, you need to be like this. In Lagos, you need to do like that. Don't go certain places. So they can basically let you know, almost like a guidance as to how to survive Lagos. Does that make sense? Okay, so moving on, the fourth thing I would say that's a pro living or staying in Nigeria is that your currency will stretch, and that's if obviously you are dealing with pounds or dollars. You will get more for your money, because let's say, for example, when I last checked, £1 is 1,211 naira. Now, I'm going to talk about it more so a bit when there's things to be aware of. How far it will stretch, that's very much contingent on where you stay and the kind of life you want to live whilst you're in Lagos. But putting that aside for now, the fact remains your currency will stretch, so you can in some ways spend a little bit less. I'm not going to say you can spend a little. You can spend a little bit less than you would in your respective Western country, and you get more value for your money, especially depending on where you stay. As I said, things are cheaper even within Lagos. Like, there's places within Lagos that are cheaper than other places within Lagos. But if you are in a place in Lagos where you have optimal value of your currency, you're going to be laughing. Like, you're going to live a very happy life in some ways, because you can just get away with so much more because you're not spending as much. Even rent and food, just general things like that, basic day-to-day needs, is just so much easier because your currency that you're either receiving in or you're trading in is obviously stronger than a naira, so that means you get more naira for however much money you change over. The fifth point, which I can't lie guys, is one of the things I love about Lagos, is that things can be done so fast. Lagos is very, very populated. There's a lot of people in that city. Multiple things can happen from somewhere being overpopulated, but one of them is readily resources. There are so many people that do the same thing. You have something coming up, you can find a tailor within 2 days, you can find a makeup artist, you can find a hairstylist, you can find a body sculptor, facial, so fast. You know how, like, for me with London, a lot of things are like, you need to have an appointment or you book well in advance, like 2 weeks in advance. No, I needed a makeup artist to go to my sister's house tomorrow morning. Best believe I can find one. So because there's so many people that do similar things and there's so many resources, you can get things done very fast. As you guys may or may not know, my last Nigerian vlog, you guys can see that I done a photo shoot. Now that photo shoot did not take me long to prepare, like, because there's so many photographers, it was easy to get one and it's easy to negotiate price. Same with the hairstylist and same with the makeup artist. And also because of how much they pay people, because it's like obviously cheaper to live in Lagos, it's also cheaper to have a lot of staff. So that's also why I feel like there's more resource. Actually no, it goes into the point of more resources, because you go to a hair salon and there's like 10 people available. That's where you guys know, you see on TikTok or YouTube when people are getting their braids done and there's like 7 women or 6 women doing their hair, because there's a lot of resources. Do you get what I mean? So that's why it's easy to kind of get things done, because there's a lot of people available to help you to get it done. So if you have any projects you want to work on, even if you want to build a new building, I can't lie, I feel like it will take nearly 60% quicker than it would be in other places of the world, and so much cheaper, because the resources are there and they're cheaper, and in all fairness, I can't lie, they're better. My last point on the pros is just, it's a different culture and it's nice to come out of what you are used to. And I say that, but that's like double-sided. You need to be open-minded when you're in Lagos. Even if you go to the nicest part of Lagos, you need to be open-minded. No matter how much there's areas or places or restaurants have tried to replicate what you're used to. If you're American and you're watching this, or you're English and you're watching this, they've tried their best to accommodate your needs, because they kind of have an understanding of what you're used to. So they've tried to replicate that. But regardless of that, you are in a different country. That's how you can go to the most luxurious, the high-class restaurant, and if NEPA takes light and you're in darkness for 10 seconds, so be it. That's why I love, it's like a different culture, but you need to have an open mind and realize it's not what you're used to. It's not worse. Well, I would say it's not worse, nor is it necessary. Well, I mean, in some ways it's better, but obviously it does come with things that you need to be aware of, slash you may classify as cons. And on that note, I'm going to swiftly move on to things that I feel like you need to be aware of if you do plan to visit Lagos or you want to move over. The first thing I feel like anyone that visits Lagos or wants to move over needs to be aware of is your experience of Lagos is very contingent on where you stay. Very contingent on where you stay. The Lagos that you guys see me vlog is different from the Lagos that I used to live a couple years ago. Why? Because the location is different. I'm not saying that it's even worse or better. I mean, in some ways it could be classified as that. It's very contingent on where you stay. Now, you guys may not know, but let me just say, Lagos is split into two, right? There's the mainland, which is where the international airport is, which is where a number of governmental institutions are, because it was like the first land to be created. And then there's the island. Now, the island, some parts of the island, I do feel like it was built to replicate or try to create like a mini society where people that come over from other countries feel comfortable. So they try to basically match what you guys are used to, like the high rises, the palm trees and all of that. They try to replicate the beaches, like they try to replicate what an international person coming either from America or somewhere in the EU, coming from England, is used to, essentially, which, you know, has its flaws and benefits, but same with the mainland too. So there's the mainland of the island, right? And then even within the island, there's there's levels. Like, there's levels within the island. There's differences within the island. You guys will hear, majority of the people, if you go on YouTube and you look for Lego vlogs or whatever, most people that stay in the island would either say they're staying in Lekki phase 1. Lekki phase 1 is very emphasis on phase 1. There's Lekki phase 2, but you don't see people talk about phase 2 as much. So there's Lekki, yeah, split in phase 1 and phase 2. I don't know if there's a phase 3, but I know the most popular is phase 1 and phase 2. Then there's Victoria Island, right? Then there is Ikoyi. Basically that falls. So Lekki phase 1 and phase 2, Victoria Island and Ikoyi. So let me quickly run through the four. So Lekki phase 1 is the most urban. It has a lot of restaurants, it has a lot of bars, it also has accommodation. Phase 2 is where you would see bigger lands and bigger houses, because phase 2 is cheaper. Now people prefer, you would prefer to be in Lekki phase 1 because it's more centrally located and it's closer to Ikoyi and it's closer to Victoria Island, which is also places that there's a lot of things that are happening around there, like restaurant, lounges or bars. If you want to enjoy yourself, that's where you would enjoy yourself. Lekki phase 1, Victoria Island or Ikoyi. Now phase 2, the problem is, yeah, there's nothing necessarily even wrong with phase 2. It's just deeper into the island. So also with phase 2, in my opinion, or from what I understand, there's only one real way of getting into phase 2, and that is a dual carriageway called Lekki Epe Expressway. When there's traffic, something that will normally take 10 minutes without traffic can take up to an hour. But as I said, there's nothing even wrong with being in Lekki phase 2 or even Ajah or places like further on the island. It's just, if you are caught in traffic, you have no other choice but to sit there, because it's essentially one way in and one way out, yeah. And then there's Victoria Island, which has a lot of offices and a lot of headquarters, and also, as I said, bars and clubs. And there's Ikoyi, and Ikoyi can be described as old money, really and truly. Like, there's a lot of like government houses. It's old money, essentially. Obviously there's people that have made it for themselves residing in Ikoyi, but Ikoyi, out of all of the four that I've listed, is like the most expensive. It doesn't have as many restaurants, it doesn't have as many bars, but it's very close to Lekki phase 1 and it's very close to Victoria Island. So your experience will be very much reliant on where you stay. Now I've stayed in Mushi. That is the ghetto, mainland, yeah, loved it. I've stayed in Lekki phase 1, I've stayed in Ikoyi, all of them, and my experience has been different each and every single time. Now what you guys would have saw in terms of vlog this year and last year was from me being in Ikoyi. A few years ago it was Lekki, and I can say just the accessibility and the ease of being able to move around is so much more different depending on where you stay. So if you want to move to Nigeria, just know that if you're staying in Ajah or like deep into the island, yes, you are on the island, but if you think you can just quickly, you know, pop to a restaurant or pop to a bar, I can't lie to you, babes, it's not going to happen. So very much contingent on where you stay. So you need to do a lot of research before you decide to move over, or even if you want to visit, you need to either have people who live in a centrally located place, or find an Airbnb or find a hotel within Lekki phase 1, Ikoyi or Victoria Island. Second thing to be aware of is that your accent, that's if you are, you know, born in a Western country, is going to be a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in the sense that it can land you some opportunities that, in all fairness, it is unfair, because it's like, it's not necessarily that you're the most qualified person for that, but because, let's say for example, a few years ago, yeah, I got an offer for a really good job, right? I wasn't really experienced in it, but I did have some experience. But the main reason why the woman wanted to give it to me, she's like, yeah, we were discussing like London, you know, growing up in there, Norwood. I didn't grow up in Norwood, but I went to school there. And she's like, yeah, I used to live in Norwood. Like, just that relatability of both being London girls. I feel, yeah, I have a good personality, and also I do feel like I was qualified for the role in some ways. But she literally said, I feel like I can trust you because we had a similar upbringing, which is not even bad, but in all fairness, it wasn't purely down to my ability to do the job. She just felt that, you know what, you have a similar mentality to me, so I feel like I trust you to be one of the senior managers in this organization. I ended up turning down the job because I didn't really want to stay and work in Nigeria, but even other opportunities have presented itself where it's not necessarily the accent, it's also like the upbringing. So, and even in certain situations, I do feel like it can bode you well, but it also can be a curse because people think you have more money than you do. Now, even if, let's say you're thinking of moving to Nigeria, right, and you've been on benefits, you ain't really had any money, you've literally decided to do something life-changing, the fact that you are coming with pounds or you are coming with dollars, I feel like majority of the time they just think you have more money than you do. Like, they understand the premise that there's variety, that there's levels of richness, yeah, even within a Western country. But for some of them, because the fact, even they're thinking, even if you are poor in pounds. And remember I said £1 is 1,210 naira. So they're thinking your poverty and my poverty are not the same. And I can't lie, I hear it, I actually understand it, which is why I wouldn't even say it's a con. It's something you just need to be aware of. So even when you're trying to negotiate or you're trying to barter and all of that, just naturally go with the premise that this person I'm talking to thinks I'm more wealthy than I am. So even when I want to get my hair done, I want to get a makeup artist, I normally ask someone that's local to Nigeria. Like, I'll get my cousin or get my sister's girl to call the person and be like, how much? Then I will then call, or then I will then go there, and then they'll now increase it by a couple thousands. And it's life. I can't even say that's a bad or good thing. It does get tiring because it's like, you don't understand. The money you think I have, I don't have it, my darling. Like, I'm not struggling, but just imagine always being ripped off, always being told a price that's much higher than how much they will sell to someone that they feel like is a native Nigerian. Eventually, your money will run out and it gets tiring. So that's why I'm saying your accent can provide you with opportunities, but it also can be a curse because in some ways it's like a barrier between you and them. Now, don't get me wrong, even within Lagos, there are some people that will be similar to me or you, where we were born in a Western country and we've moved over. So you can have that circle of people and you can have people around you, or there's just rich Nigerians that have just been around the world. They don't have an accent, but they got money. So it is what it is. But I feel like, yeah, there is some type of disconnect between, you know, those Nigerians that were born and raised in a Western country and those who were born and raised there, because for some of them, they're thinking your currency and my currency are not the same, so I can't treat you the same. So the third point is something that I realized very quick, and it's something my sister told me. Dealing with Nigerians, whether it's like business or whichever way you're going to deal with, even if you're buying food, it's going to sound bad, but it requires a level of violence. Like, it requires a level of, like, you need to have some type of, you need to have liver. Because I feel, in my personal experience, dealing with some Nigerians, if they can get away with not doing something or ripping you off, or, you know, inflating the price, or just trying to essentially just not do what they need to do, even if it's their job, just not doing what they need to do, you need to be able to switch. You don't need to go, like, you don't need to be very violent, you don't need to be like angry or shouting at them, but you need to be like, let's say for example something costs 5,000 and they're telling you 11,000, be like, 11,000 for what? No, but 11,000 for what? For who sent you? Why am I going to pay 11,000 when I know this thing costs 5,000? Why would I actually give you 11,000? For what? Let me see the menu then. You see it? You need to have that in you. Like, all this soft spoken, like, oh, I don't understand why. Oh, is it a different? No. Especially if you want to live there, you will be eaten up. And at all, you need to be rude or you need to be pompous. But at the first sign of someone taking a piss out of you, if you think you're just going to be like, oh no, can I talk to the manager please? And no. Cut it, dead it there and then. But when they see that you're not to be effed about with, they'll be like, okay, man, we'll do it for 5,000. these times that was the original price anyways. So you need to have that, you need to have stomach, you need to be able to like switch up. You can't be too introverted, you can't be too shy, because even like the most shyest girls, even the most quietest girls that reside in Lagos, best believe if they need to switch up, if they need to tap into the Lagosian spirit, best believe they're able to do that. It's really important, even for those that want to go in Christmas, because they're definitely going to bill you because they know that you just came back from a Oyinbo country. Do you get what I mean? You need to be able to be like, nah, I'm not paying that. Show me the bill then. Be like, why did you charge that person that money? Now you're telling me double. Do you get what I mean? You need to have that within you or be able to activate that. And the last point is really important for those that actually want to not really just live there, those that want to be there for a period of time. Remote working, the internet and the light can fail you. If you want to be Nigerian, you still want to work, you need to have multiple sources of internet. If you can, have Wi-Fi. If you can, have MiFi, that's like a dongle. Have internet on your phone. Like, you always need to have a backup, because one day MTN can decide to stop working. One day Etisalat can decide to stop, Glow can stop working. Like, it's just unpredictable sometimes. So you need to always make sure you're in a position where you have different sources of internet, or be around people that can provide you with internet. And also with the lighting situation, I'm not going to delve too much into it, but for the most part, people either rely on NEPA, which is like the national light, I don't know what it stands for, but NEPA is like, you either pay, it's pay as you go or the monthly subscription. But the problem is NEPA doesn't always come, so you are paying for light that is not necessarily, like 85% of the time it will provide you with light. But the problem is, if you don't pay for NEPA, the light definitely doesn't come. And if you pay for NEPA, the light may or may not come, which is why some people have a generator, and a generator is fueled by petrol. So you buy petrol and then you on your generator, but that doesn't provide you a such a seamless provision of internet, no, provision of light as NEPA does, because a generator makes noise, and it's like you have to turn off like certain AC, depending on the size of the generator, you may not be able to turn on your AC, or it can just only be one AC and one fan. Like, you basically need to be very careful with what electronical devices you have on whilst you're on generator. Same with NEPA, but it's just cheaper. And also, if there's like a fuel scarcity, it's harder to buy petrol. So if it's harder to buy petrol, it's harder to put petrol into your generator. Anyways, just to, you know, bring everything together and kind of speak about me personally, I've realized that I can definitely stay in Nigeria for a period of time. But you know how I was saying there's a different society? I feel like it's a society that I can be in for a period of time, but it's not a society that I can live in. I know how to function, I know how to, you know, I can move around. As you guys saw, I'm very independent when it comes to being in Lagos. I can survive, but it's just not what I want for my life. Do you know what I mean? I love it for what it is, and I love being there for a period of time, but to move over, I would say I'm a bit too used to the London way of life to be able to fully submerge myself into Lagos way of life. I feel like there's some things that's just a bit too hectic. It's chaotic. Lagos is chaotic, and emphasis on, I'm not talking about the whole Nigeria, because your experience in Abuja will be very different. Even when I was in Abuja for a little bit, it's very calm, very nice, there's not that much traffic, the NEPA is good apparently. So please understand that I'm not generalizing Nigeria, but what I am talking about is Lagos. Do you know what I mean? And even I can't even generalize Lagos, because it's not like I've lived there for years and years and years. I can just talk about my personal experience. Anyway, so those are things that I think you need to be aware of, both in terms of the pros and things that generally you need to be aware of if you do want to visit or live there. But nonetheless, I love Lagos, as you guys know. I love going there. I love showing you guys Lagos. Lagos is absolutely beautiful. As I listed, there's so many fun things to do there. It's such a nice vibe, but could I stay there permanently? I don't think I can. Would I want to? I don't think I would want to. But there's many people, even my sister, that made a decision to live there. She loves it regardless of the chaos. Me, I want a soft life. You can live a soft life in Lagos, don't get me wrong, but you also need to have that that little element of violence in you. And please, I'm just trying to be kumbaya, my lord, and go about my business. Those are my main points I think you should be aware of if you do want to visit Lagos, especially if you're going in December. Anyways, I'm going to be quiet and leave you guys, tell you guys to stay tuned for my future videos. And once again, I have launched my own hair collection called ZOGIE'S hair collection, so make sure you check that out. Even if you just look safe, you know, I've got quite a few deals coming through, so you know. But if you want to invest in good quality hair that will last you up to 10 years, you can dye to any color and you know the quality is still good, then yeah, check out my description box. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye.